Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. Good to see ya. Now I mentioned it more so recently in my Tista review that sometimes these English translator manga publishers will license a manga that had flopped in Japan just because they need more content. With the ever-growing manga demand here in America. Plus, for Viz specifically, they have a media app that they're trying to push, and they need more content for that app, more paid content on there, etc, etc. Sometimes they even go as far as to taking up webcomics or some American manga and publishing that. Don't forget about Horizon Quest campaign going on right now. We're very, very close to reaching that goal, so definitely, if you like fantasy, if you like adventures, then go check out Horizon Quest. It's a collab project between me, with my art, and fantasy writer Adam Meisner, and I'm sure you will be interested. One of those flops that they ended up licensing was Tista. Another one is one that we're going to be reviewing right now, The Hunters Guild Red Hood. This is somewhat of an interesting flop because I feel like the potential to be good was there, but I can definitely see why it didn't really quite mesh out as well. The story begins with our main character who lives in this village. He's raised by the mayor, and one day they find out that there is a werewolf eating people in the village. So they send off for one of the hunters to come take care of the werewolf for them. So the girl that they send is Grim. Yes, she is a hunter. She's the same girl on the cover. As it turns out, she just has a lolly curse put on her that makes her take the appearance of a little girl until she is able to release some of her powers. She can turn into her regular self for a short enough time to be able to fight, and that's how we get the big booba lady on the cover. Obviously parallels to Little Red Riding Hood, of course. Yes, she wears the red hood, she appears as a little girl, and she fights werewolves. Good job, everyone. The main character ends up helping her get rid of the rest of the werewolves in the village, and she decides to take him back to the guild to train him how to be a hunter himself. Now, this is not a bad way to introduce a series. In fact, I was actually quite interested, even if I didn't think the storytelling was top-notch throughout these chapters. I was still like, okay, this is a premise. I can get behind this. Sure, I've seen stuff similar to it before, but it's a working premise. And I feel like definitely a lot of people become very interested in a manga series from the premise alone. However, I did have problems with it right immediately. I did like the art. I like this art, even though it's a little bit odd in some sections. The one thing that I really didn't like about the art, and that kind of made the manga a little bit less enjoyable for me, well, maybe more than a little bit less, the werewolf designs. These are supposed to be werewolves. When I think werewolves, I'm not thinking of a creation from Dr. Seuss. It's just not something that pops into my head. It's really hard to take the villains that are these werewolves seriously when they just look like they're in such a different art style, and it's not scary. That's another huge thing. They don't look scary. They don't look like a threat. So that was a huge problem when I started up the series. Regardless, I kept on reading because it wasn't really that long of a series. It only ended up being 19 chapters because it didn't really pick up popularity, and they were like, okay, you need to end it. So it does have an ending. They were able to prep enough for an ending, similar to Black Torch was able to prep for an ending, but it's super rushed. It's super forced in there when it was clearly not supposed to end yet. So after they defeat the werewolves, they have some sort of test first where you've seen it before, where in Naruto or My Hero Academia, they have those trial tests where they have to fight the teachers. They have to prove that they can stand on their own. So they do a cops and robbers game. And that's basically it. That's basically because the writer had to rush it. So as soon as they win the cops and robbers game, congratulations, you're all official hunters. Hold up a second, because here comes the villains, really, really fast. In like a blink of an eye, we learn that the mayor is not actually dead, and he's working with the villains who have just been like on the pages once or twice, just looming in the background. We didn't get to know anything about the villains whatsoever. And then we get into some like super meta kind of ending here. It was a little bit cringe. Perhaps just a bit. Maybe the writer was a bit salty that they had to end the story so quickly. But basically, the mayor reveals that there is a literal storybook that controls the universe. And for some reason, the main character is the only one who can decide the ending of this book. They also added it and just, squeezed that in there last minute, that the main character is not a person that was born into this world. They were created by use of the book. So then at some point, they turn the book into a gun. They shoot him in the face. And it's revealed that the ending that he picked is that he didn't want an ending. He wanted everyone to keep on living and keep on trying to like get rid of these werewolves. Remember werewolves? Yeah. Okay, as I'm recapping this, it gets more and more difficult because it gets strange and convoluted at the end because they just shoehorn in this plot of there being a book that controls the world. And I guess that fits with like the themes, the metaphorical or parallel themes they were going for. Having like a parallel to Little Red Riding Hood is not enough to be like, oh, by the way, the world is controlled by a literal fairy tale book. I can at least give a little head nod to the idea that the writer was upset about having to end the series, and so in their way, this is like them saying that they want to continue the series by like having the characters quite literally say they don't want the story to have an ending. But maybe it's for the best that it was canceled, to be fair. I didn't see much strength within the writing. Like, it didn't get better as it went on. It feels like it got a bit worse. Black Torch, I thought it had a rough opening, but I thought it got better as it went on, like the writer was slowly improving. But regardless, this is a licensed flop that Viz is putting on their app now. Why Viz will like license this type of stuff and put it on their app as if it's new. Yeah, it's a new upload for their app, right? But it's not a new manga. I guess you gotta be careful and like look up to see how old they are and if they were canceled. But yeah, definitely let me know what you think. What other manga you'd like to see me review. Definitely a bunch of cool new manga I've been reading, but I'm not even sure if I should review them yet because they're so new that they don't have a lot of chapters. But yeah, look forward to those. Like the video, subscribe, join the fan club if you'd like to see sneak peeks of new comics, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye!
Program restart. Shutting down all systems.